Hi there, my name is Julia and I'm a volunteer for Turnip Green Creative Reuse. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a plastic container into a compost bin that you can use indoors and can store under your sink. It looks like this, and it is made out of entirely reused materials. Let's get started. Before you begin, you'll need to gather the following materials: a plastic container with a lid that seals tightly. When choosing a container, think about what you would like to use your composter for and how often you will want to change it out. You can choose a larger or smaller plastic container to accommodate for your needs. A tray or second plastic container that fits under your composter and can catch spills. A small amount of soil. An old newspaper or brown paper bags cut into shreds like this. I used a Trader Joe's bag. And scissors, a drill, or a hammer and nail to cut holes in the plastic container. If you want to decorate the outside of your container, you'll also want paint supplies, and you can see that I reused an egg carton as a mixing palette for my paints. All of the materials shown here are from Turnip Green Creative Reuse, meaning they've been diverted from a trip to the landfill as part of TGCR's mission to promote creativity and sustainability through reuse. Next, you are going to punch holes in the bottom of the plastic container you chose. This will aid with the composting process. You'll also want to punch several holes around the rim of the plastic container so that your compost has some ventilation, which will help reduce odors. If you're particularly worried about odors with your composter, you can take a charcoal filter, which is basically a thin layer of charcoal padding, and glue it to the underside of the lid. You can cut it around the edges so it fits the lid. Before doing anything else, you have an opportunity here to decorate your compost bin. I chose to do so using acrylic paints, but feel free to use whatever art supplies you may have, or forgo the decoration step altogether. This is what my composter looked like after I decorated it. Be creative and have some fun with it. Next, you're going to set up your bin. Pick a location for it and line the tray or second plastic container with newspaper or brown paper bags. Put the composter onto the tray. Now, it's time to fill the bin. For the best success composting indoors, you will want to keep a balance between wet and dry materials. To do this, begin by adding a layer of soil to the bottom of the bin. How much soil you add will depend on the size of your bin. The larger your bin is, the more soil you'll want to add. On top of the soil, you're going to add a dry layer of newspaper or brown paper bag shreds. Once you've done this, your bin is ready for use. A couple of tips. When adding scraps to your composter, you'll want to make them as small as possible, so consider cutting up food scraps before putting them in the bin, as it will help the compost process happen faster. Keep a scoop next to your compost bin for an easy way to add food scraps and soil as needed. You'll want to mix your compost bin every week, turning over the scraps and adding half a scoop of new soil. To keep the balance between wet and dry materials, add shredded newspaper or brown paper bags to the compost bin each time you add scraps. If the bin starts to smell, it means the wet-dry ratio is likely off. To troubleshoot, add more newspaper or brown paper bag shreds or punch extra holes for ventilation. Be sure you know which foods can and cannot be composted indoors so you know your compost bin is working effectively. The composting process takes time, so give some thought as to what you will do with your compost bin when it's full. You can always empty the compost into an outdoor pile, but if you're limited to an indoor space, you can store the compost bin somewhere until the compost is ready to use, typically within a couple of months to a year. That's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to check out the rest of TGCR's YouTube channel for more fun projects you can do at home.